New Jersey's housing market has a reputation: strong prices, fierce competition, homes selling over asking price in days. And for most of the state, that reputation is still true in 2025. According to New Jersey realtors, homes statewide sold at an average of 101.5% of their asking price in 2025, meaning sellers are still getting more than they listed for on average. The median sales price across all property types hit $525,000 last year, a 4% increase over the prior year. So what's the problem? Here's the problem. That statewide average is hiding something. Because while certain New Jersey towns are seeing bidding wars, multiple offers, and homes gone in days, other towns are experiencing a completely different reality. A reality where for sale signs sit in front yards for weeks, then months, where sellers slash prices and buyers still don't come, where the math of homeownership is quietly breaking down. According to Redfin, the median days on market in New Jersey reached 58 days in January 2026, up 9 days from the same time last year. And Clever Real Estate data puts it even higher, at 70 days median as of December 2025. But those are averages. In the specific towns we're going to walk through today, the situation is significantly worse than the average suggests. And there are two forces making this happen across New Jersey right now that most people aren't talking about. Number 1. New Jersey has the second highest property taxes in the entire United States. The average annual property tax bill in New Jersey runs around $9,500 per year. In certain towns, that burden becomes so severe relative to what homes are worth that buyers do the math and walk away. Number 2. Affordability has hit a decade low. According to NJ House Partners' May 2025 market analysis, mortgage rates hovering around 7%, combined with elevated home prices, have pushed housing affordability to its lowest point in over 10 years. Wage growth simply isn't keeping up with what it costs to own a home in New Jersey. In this video, we're going to look at 9 specific New Jersey towns where these forces are creating real, measurable stress in the housing market, where homes are sitting, where price cuts are multiplying, where sellers are waiting and wondering what happened. Let's get into it. Town number 15, Atlantic City. Atlantic City is one of the most fascinating and alarming housing stories in all of New Jersey. On the surface, some forecasts look optimistic. Zillow projected around 2.4% price appreciation for the Atlantic City metro through early 2026. But when you look beneath that number, what you find is a market with serious structural vulnerabilities that those rosy forecasts don't capture. Here's the data that matters. According to Adams' 2025 foreclosure data, Atlantic City was specifically named as one of the metropolitan statistical areas with the worst foreclosure rates in the entire United States in 2025. New Jersey as a whole held the highest foreclosure rate of any state in December 2025. And Atlantic City is at the center of that crisis within the state. Why is this happening? Atlantic City's economy is almost entirely built on the one industry: gaming and tourism. And that model creates housing market volatility that's unlike almost anywhere else in New Jersey. When tourism weakens, when casino revenues decline, when competition from other gaming destinations increases, the economic ripple hits housing directly and fast. The numbers from Home Stratosphere's June 2025 analysis confirm this vulnerability. Atlantic City experienced a 16.5% crash in home values in 2016, and the data shows it is still 74% overextended above historical pricing norms, even with a current median price of just $222.25, the lowest in their New Jersey analysis, and the market carries 12.4% annual price volatility, one of the highest volatility readings in the entire state. What does that mean for a homeowner trying to sell? It means buyers know this market is unpredictable. They know a bad tourism season, a casino closure, or a broader economic slowdown can trigger another major correction. And that uncertainty makes them hesitate. It makes offers lower. It makes negotiations harder. It makes homes sit. If you own a property in Atlantic City's residential neighborhoods, not on the casino strip, but in the surrounding housing blocks where ordinary families live, you are in a market that is fundamentally harder to exit than it looks from the outside. A town number 20, Trenton. Trenton is New Jersey's state capital, and it carries a name that commands recognition. But that name recognition hasn't been enough to protect its housing market. According to Home Stratosphere's detailed June 2025 analysis of New Jersey markets, where prices look ready to correct, Trenton had the most severe historical crash in their entire dataset. Home values fell 26.7% in 2012, the largest single market decline they tracked across the state. And as of their 2025 analysis, current Trenton prices are sitting 69.4% above their long-term historical average, a level of overextension that the data describes as dangerous. The market carries 13.4% annual price volatility, which Homostratosphere describes as extreme market instability that could trigger another major correction. Let's be clear about what that means in practical terms. When you list a home in Trenton, you are listing in a market where buyers are acutely aware of this history. They know prices collapsed here before. They know affordability is strained. They know the city has struggled with economic challenges for decades, despite the government employment base. And that awareness translates directly into hesitation, lowball offers, and yes, homes sitting unsold for months. According to the statewide data from Redfin, the number of homes sold in New Jersey fell 10.3% year over year in January 2026. In markets like Trenton that already face structural challenges, those volume declines hit harder than the statewide average suggests. And here's the additional pressure point. New Jersey's property taxes, the second highest in the nation at an average $9,500 per year, hit hardest in markets where home values are lower relative to the tax burden. In Trenton, where prices are already compressed compared to the state median of $5,200 to $5,000, the property tax burden as a percentage of monthly ownership cost is severe. That math drives buyers away and keeps homes sitting longer than sellers expect. Town number 3A, Gloucester City. Gloucester City sits in Camden County along the Delaware River, directly across from Philadelphia. Its proximity to a major job market should be an asset, but the data tells a different story. According to Homestratosphere's June 2025 analysis, Gloucester City has experienced two major housing crashes in recent history, and current home values now sit 76.9% above sustainable levels based on long-term historical averages. The city has seen strong appreciation of 81.2% since 2010. But that run-up is precisely what creates risk for current sellers. Here's why this matters for anyone trying to sell right now. When a market has run this far above its historical baseline, and then buyer activity slows, which it has across New Jersey in 2025, properties don't just sit at inflated prices waiting for the right buyer. In markets with this level of overextension and a crash history, buyers become extremely cautious. They start doing historical research, they see the prior crashes, and they either walk away, make aggressive lowball offers, or simply wait. The Camden County median stands at $305,000, one of the most affordable in the state. But affordability doesn't automatically mean sales velocity. Affordable markets with high property tax burdens, limited economic diversification, and recent crash history can be some of the hardest markets in which to actually close a sale. For Gloucester City home owners who bought at recent elevated prices and need to sell, this environment is deeply uncomfortable. The gap between what they need to get and what buyers are willing to pay is widening. Town number 40, Lindenwold. Lindenwold is a small borough in Camden County that has had one of the most dramatic price appreciation runs in the entire state over the past decade. And that run is exactly why it now appears on this list. According to Homestratosphere, Lindenwold's home values have risen 151% since 2010. Read that number again, 151%. As of their June 2025 analysis, current prices sit 91% above the borough's long-term historical average, described in the report as extreme overextension. Here's the context. Lindenwold has a Patco Speedline station connecting it to Philadelphia, which has driven demand from commuters seeking affordable suburban access to the city. That's a real fundamental driver. But when a market rises 151% in a decade, and then buyer activity cools statewide, as it has in New Jersey in 2025 with sales volumes down 10.3% year over year according to Redfin, the most overextended markets become the most vulnerable to extended listing periods. When a home is priced at a level that is 91% above its long-term historical norm, buyers who do their due diligence see that gap. They understand that prices have run far ahead of local incomes and fundamentals. And in a cooling transaction environment, they have more negotiating leverage than they've had in years. According to NJ House Partners' May 2025 data, The percentage of homes selling above asking price fell to 51.4%, down from 58% the prior year. Buyers are gaining ground, and in the most overextended markets, sellers are feeling it. Town number 5, Willingboro Township. Willingboro Township has one of the most unique histories of any community in New Jersey. Originally developed in the 1950s as Levittown, one of America's first mass-produced suburban communities, Willingboro was designed to make homeownership accessible and affordable for ordinary American families. Decades later, the market has moved dramatically away from that original mission. According to Homestratosphere's June 2025 analysis, Willingboro's median home price has increased 118.8% since 2010, and current values now sit 78.6% above sustainable levels based on long-term historical averages. The community had a significant market crash in 2011, with prices falling 13%, demonstrating real vulnerability to broader economic pressure. Burlington County's median price of approximately $405,000 means Willingboro, despite its planned community roots, is now competing in a market segment where buyers have real options and real concerns about affordability and long-term value stability. The challenge for current sellers in Willingboro is this: the township sits between Trenton and Philadelphia, with access to highways and public transportation. That positioning should attract buyers. But when homes are priced at level 78.6% above long-term norms in a market where affordability has reached decade lows. According to NJ House Partners, housing affordability in New Jersey hit its lowest point in over 10 years in 2025. Buyers are doing the math more carefully than ever before. Higher mortgage rates around 7% combined with elevated prices, and New Jersey's $900–500 average annual property tax burden create monthly ownership costs that many buyers simply cannot sustain. And when buyers can't sustain the costs, homes sit. Weeks become months. Price reductions become necessary. Sellers who bought at recent peaks find themselves in a painful position. Town number 60, Bergen County townhouse and condo market. Now we need to talk about a specific segment that is underperforming even inside one of New Jersey's strongest county markets. Bergen County as a whole is one of the most desirable areas in the state. The median price for a single-family home in Bergen County has soared 11.6% to $88,000, according to Robert DeFalco Realty's 2025 analysis. Single-family homes here are still competitive. But here's what that headline number is hiding. The townhouse and condo market in Bergen County is a completely different story. According to the same analysis, the median price for townhouses and condos in Bergen County sits at $2,500, and properties in this segment are sitting on the market for over 80 days. 80 days. In Bergen County. That number is striking because it sits well above both the statewide average of 58 days from Redfin and the 70-day median from Clever Real Estate. In a market as desirable as Bergen County, an 80-day average for a specific segment tells you something important is broken for that segment. What's happening? Bergen County's median income and the kind of buyer attracted to this market typically prioritizes single-family homes, yards, space, school districts. The townhouse and condo buyer in this market is often a first-time buyer or downsizer who is more acutely sensitive to mortgage rates and monthly carrying costs. At over 7% mortgage rates, and HOA fees layered on top of already high prices and property taxes, the math for this buyer segment has become extremely difficult. Sellers of townhouses and condos in Bergen County, who priced based on the strength of the single-family market around them, are discovering a frustrating reality. Their segment operates under completely different rules, and those rules, right now, are working against them. Town number 70, Passaic County markets. Passaic County is where one of the clearest warning signals in all of New Jersey real estate data appeared in 2025. And it's a signal that isn't getting nearly enough attention. According to NJ House Partners, May 2025 market analysis, closed sales in Passaic County dropped 10.7% year over year. That means 10.7% fewer completed home sales compared to the same period the prior year. And critically, this sales decline happened despite only a minor increase in new listings. Think about what that combination means. Roughly the same number of homes coming to market. Significantly fewer sales closing. That means the gap between listed homes and actual closings is growing. That means more homes are sitting. More listings are expiring. More sellers are either making price cuts or pulling their homes off the market in frustration. The same report noted that days on market across North Jersey are rising, with some towns in this region seeing homes sit 40 or more days, compared to just 20 to 25 days the prior spring. In the span of about a year, selling timelines in some Passaic County towns have roughly doubled. The backdrop: mortgage rates hovering around 7%, consumer confidence dipping, and housing affordability at a decade low across the state. These forces don't hit all markets equally. Markets that are already more working class, that have more price-sensitive buyer pools, that have less of the Manhattan commuter premium, those markets feel the demand pullback first and most severely. For homeowners in Passaic County towns who need to sell and price their home based on 2022 or 2023 comps, the current reality is a hard adjustment. Town number 80, Cumberland County, Bridgeton and Vineland. We move now to the southernmost reaches of New Jersey and to the state's most affordable county, Cumberland. Cumberland County has a median home price of approximately $208,000 to $291,000, depending on the data source, making it the most affordable county in the entire state by a significant margin. And Zillow's forecast for the Vineland Metro through early 2026 shows just 4% projected appreciation, one of the lowest appreciation forecasts for any New Jersey metro area. Here's the critical issue with affordable markets in a high property tax state. When you buy a $28,000 home in New Jersey and still face property taxes averaging $9,500 per year, that's a property tax bill that represents over 3% of your home's value annually. For comparison, in states like Florida or Texas, homeowners pay similar or lower dollar amounts in property taxes, but on homes worth 2 or 3 times as much, making the relative burden far more manageable. In Cumberland County, this tax-to-value ratio is one of the worst in the state, and it directly suppresses buyer demand. Why buy here when the tax bill eats such a significant portion of any affordability advantage? Bridgeton, Cumberland County's largest city, faces additional structural challenges: limited economic diversification, high local unemployment rates historically, and population trends that have not supported robust housing demand create a buyer pool that is thin and cautious. The result is exactly what you'd expect: longer days on market, more price reductions, and sellers who listed expecting the New Jersey is strong headlines to apply to them, only to discover their specific market operates by very different rules. Town number 90, overpriced listings statewide. The hidden inventory problem. Our 9th town isn't a specific municipality, it's a category of home, and it exists in every county across New Jersey right now. Here's the data that reveals it. According to Robert D. Falco Realty's November 2025 analysis, the average home in New Jersey takes 43 days to sell, up from just 34 days the prior year. And critically, that 43-day average includes all the well-priced homes that move in a week or less. When you factor those fast movers out, the homes that are actually sitting are sitting for far longer. The report is explicit about why properties priced 5 to 10% above market value, in hopes of negotiating down, are instead sitting unsold as buyers have more options to choose from. Redfin's December 2025 data shows that 13.3% of New Jersey homes had price drops, up from 11.0% the prior year. That is a meaningful jump. It means more and more sellers are discovering that their initial listing price was wrong, that their 2022 or 2021 mental model of what their home is worth doesn't match what 2025 and 2026 buyers are willing to pay. According to Clever Real Estate, the median days on market in New Jersey hit 70 days as of December 2025, and NJ House Partners noted that homes in as-is condition, properties that need work, may sit unless priced aggressively. In a market where buyers have more options than they had a year ago, they are more discerning. They want move-in ready, they want correct pricing, and they have enough options to wait for it. The overpriced listing problem is the silent epidemic inside New Jersey real estate right now. It's not dramatic. It doesn't make headlines. But it's the reason tens of thousands of New Jersey homeowners are checking their phone every day, wondering why no one is calling to schedule a showing. And it's happening in every one of the 9 markets we've discussed today. So let's put all of this in honest perspective, because you deserve that. New Jersey is not collapsing. Let's be clear about that. According to Catality's December 2025 Home Price Index, New Jersey was one of the top-performing states in the country with 5% annual price growth. Among the strongest in the nation, the overall market is not in freefall. But the statewide average is a blunt instrument. It doesn't show you what's happening in Atlantic City's foreclosure-vulnerable residential neighborhoods. It doesn't show you Gloucester City, Lindenwold, and Willingboro sitting 70 to 90% above historical price norms. It doesn't show you the 7% year-over-year sales decline in Passaic County. It doesn't show you Bergen County townhouses and condos sitting 80 days on the market. It doesn't show you Cumberland County homeowners fighting property taxes that eat half their affordability advantage. And it doesn't show you the most important number of all. Home sales volume in New Jersey fell 3% year-over-year in January 2026, according to Redfin. Prices are still technically up statewide, but fewer and fewer transactions are actually closing. That gap between elevated asking prices and shrinking buyer activity is exactly where homes go to sit unsold for months. If you own a home in New Jersey right now, here's the most important action you can take. Get a comparative market analysis done by a local agent who knows your specific town and your specific property type, not your county's average, not the statewide number, your zip code, your street, your exact comparable sales from the last 90 days. Because in New Jersey in 2026, the difference between a home that sells in 2 weeks and a home that sits for 6 months can come down to a pricing decision made on day one. Don't let your home become the data point that other homeowners are watching from across the street.